I'm Kevin Coleman with the Charlotte Post, and we are in the aftermath of a awards presentation. Can you introduce yourself and say what this was about?
Absolutely. My name is Rhiannon Gill. I am the director of the Garden Family Advocacy Center, formerly known as the Child Protection Center of Ross County. Our agency performs the abuse assessments for law enforcement, children's services, and pediatricians, and the emergency room as well. So this year, as part of April Prevention Awareness Month for Child Abuse Prevention, I decided that we would do a multidisciplinary team appreciation awards breakfast. We recognized several individuals from the multiple counties that we service. One of the particular individuals that we awarded a Children's Champion Award to today was Julie Cook Hutchinson of Scioto County. She's a prosecuting attorney there who has been there for more than 20 years. She has prosecuted countless cases involving minors who have been abused in multiple ways as well as murdered. So unfortunately, it was a situation where I thought we needed to recognize and appreciate our multidisciplinary team, which involves law enforcement, children's services, mental health providers, medical providers, and our Child Advocacy Center as well. One of the things about Julie Cook Hutchinson in particular is a practice that she does on a regular basis. This is a picture of a bulletin board in her office. Each of these photos represents her hand with the small hands of a victim in a case that she has prosecuted. For each of these children, she gives them the ability to understand that they're not alone in this process, that there are safe adults available to them, and that we do care when they think that they aren't being cared for and being safe. And it's vitally important to recognize that our children's services, our law enforcement, although a lot of times they're villainized, they are part of the solution and not the problem. Many times our law enforcement officers and our children's services workers and our prosecuting attorneys, they put their lives on the line many times for these children without even having met them. Just knowing that they had been abused is enough for these caring individuals. So it's vitally important to understand that we need to appreciate all of the services that are wrapped around in the Child Advocacy Center model.
I noticed there were a lot of badges and also seemed like a lot of stoicism.
Yes. The multidisciplinary team approach is purposefully made so that we do not re-traumatize a child when they have been a victim of a crime. So in a normal process, without a child advocacy center, a child may be asked to tell their story time and time again, every time they encounter law enforcement, every time they encounter a prosecuting attorney, every time they see a mental health provider or a medical provider. The CAC model in and of itself is geared to help to reduce that re-traumatization. So each of the individuals that was here today, more than 50 participants for our multidisciplinary awards breakfast, each of them is a proponent for that particular model as the gold standard to be held here in Ohio.
So what is the organization, the history of your organization?
So the Child Protection Center was created in 1996 by a group of individuals who recognized that children were being re-traumatized over and over again, but at the cost of their families. So all of the services provided at our Child Advocacy Center are free of charge. So a typical day would look like a child coming in, speaking to a child abuse specialist who is able to give a forensic interview and give the child the forum to speak at their own time, in their own space, in a neutral, comfortable zone without feeling shame or worried or having to put on a show for anybody. Then they get a physical exam, which covers the basic ear, nose, throat, but then there's an additional exam done by a machine called the colposcope. So instead of having that poking and prodding that a typical SANE exam would include, the colposcope is a machine that can take pictures of the bottom half of the body and amplify them so much so that you can see bruising and tearing under the skin that the naked eye can't see. But in addition to being able to take those photos, it also gives a second physician or a third physician the ability to review those photos and check abnormal findings without having to re-traumatize the child by doing that physical exam over and over again. During the time that the child is getting that particular exam, we have a victim advocate who meets with the family and discusses the possibility of services that they might need connected with. They may have a need for food and clothing. They may need assistance with getting Medicaid prepared. We've even gone to the extent of helping a teenager prepare her Pell Grant application for college because no one in her family could read or understand the paperwork themselves. Our victim advocate can connect with all of the other community organizations that we have. So, we recognize that there's always a possibility that someone who's coming through our doors may have experienced intimate partner violence themselves or is experiencing it at that very time. We're able to link them with our domestic violence shelter through our community action here in Ross County. We also do screening for human trafficking. So if we recognize that those red flags exist, we help to make sure that mental health is intact, that those proper referrals are taken care of, as well as if substance abuse disorders exist, we make sure that the mental health proponent of that is referred to somebody that is capable of handling that in our community. We also provide child therapy at no cost to children. As long as there has been a history of trauma, they don't necessarily have to have the services through our agency, although children who've come through our doors do have a priority service. We also provide a court-ordered supervised visitation program where children whose parents have a problem that they can't be left alone with their children for extended periods of time, we give them the opportunity to have that companionship in a supervised, monitored building. And lastly, we also provide prevention education. So according to Aaron's Law, local schools should be providing sexual abuse recognition, body safety, suicidal ideation, and computer safety as well. So our office provides several different programs to our local school areas for free. We have an individual who does a program called Child Help Speak Up Be Safe, as well as NetSmarts through NCMEC. And those programs are provided to children from kindergarten up through the 8th grade. If any of these services are needed, you need only call our agency. We are now known as the Garden Family Advocacy Center. We recently underwent a name change because we were continually confused with children's services. So we wanted to make sure that it was understood that we also service the non-offending family members of the children who have been victimized. The number to call our agency is 740-779-7431, and you can ask to speak to any of our staff, all of which are very knowledgeable in the child advocacy arena as well as prevention.
All right, very thorough system, it sounds like.
I would like to think so.
Do you have a statistical data that shows that this way of dealing with the children is effective? It does.
There are lots of numbers out there. Unfortunately, when we deal with statistics, it is based off of children who have come forward. So 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys will be sexually abused before the age of 18. Our doors are open Monday through Friday. And we, in the last year, saw roughly 500 children over 6 counties that we service. But here in Ross County, we had seen roughly 185 children of that 500 through Ross County services. What's important to remember is not the statistical numbers. In general, it costs roughly $14,000 for one child to be seen in the fashion that they are seen from start to finish when it comes to a case. Our agency provides those services free of charge, regardless of the family's ability to pay. So the gold standard that Ohio is trying to establish is that children should go through a child advocacy center because it does, in fact, link them with the services that are gapped throughout the area and throughout the process, which can be a very gray area. It's really important to understand that children are our future. And if we don't provide them with the services that they vitally need, they will continue to become adults who have mental health issues, substance abuse disorders. They don't function well. And who wants to live like that? The reality is that children are our greatest commodity. And if we can provide them with the necessary support, we have a future that's much brighter.
You want to break the cycle?
Absolutely.
You have a ceremony coming up?
Yes, our annual pinwheel ceremony for Child Abuse Prevention Month is this Friday at the entrance of Chillicothe Park. We do this every year, the first Friday, where we notate how many children's services cases were processed through our county. Last year, 1,719 children received services through children's services here in our county. And of them, roughly 300 of them came through some portion of the advocacy center, whether that be that they had therapy or they got advocacy services or assessments. What's really important to know is that this collaboration is vital to ensuring that children get the services they need. And this particular ceremony is a representation of the services provided to those children. So there's a visual representation in the park. This year, I have two 12-foot pinwheels and a banner, as well as little pinwheels that would be planted in the pipes of the large pinwheels, representing those children who have been serviced in our county.